What's good? Give me a one if you can hear me. It's Thawahgabar in the building for Black Authentic Truth. And I got a hell of a show. Like I promised, I got a heavy, heavy Black Authentic story. Okay. We good? All right, we in there. I got a heavy Black Authentic story. Some of y'all probably heard of it, some of y'all probably haven't, but we'll get to that at the end of the live. I want to talk about a few things, a couple of things, right? Now, I think I'll start off with Good Times. I don't know if anybody has heard of the new reboot of the show, the historic show, the show that's iconic in the Black community, Good Times, with a struggling Black family finding ways to make it, right? Well, they did a reboot, and I see that a lot of Black people were not happy. And I heard about this reboot, and so I decided to watch it. I decided to watch the first season, and let me tell you, it was trash. Okay, let me pull this picture up real quick. It was trash, y'all. It, let me pull this picture up. Yeah, this is the new family. So it's titled Good Times, Black Again, and it's a reboot. And I had to ask the question, like, why even use good time in the title? Good times in the title. Why even use it in the title? Because it does the iconic show sitcom of Good Times a disservice with all of the racial stereotypes and racial tropes that that other people like to claim Black people are like. Right? It's like a minstrel show. It's like Jim Crow, Jim Crow. That's what I saw when I watched the first episode. Okay, I watched the first episode and I was like, "What in the hell is this?" I don't know I don't know how old some of y'all are in my audience, but it reminded me of the PJs. If y'all remember the PJs, it reminded me of that, and I'm like, "Why even name it Good Times?" Well, I'll get to that. The reason why they named it Good Times. So the executive producers are Steph Curry, right? Seth MacFarlane, and Norman Lear. Now, who is Norman Lear? Norman Lear is the original producer of the original series of Good Times. He's passed away. I think he passed away in December of 2023. But he was alive for the remake. And so he was older in age, definitely probably senile, right? And he was signing off on this stuff. Now, they had somebody that was the forerunner of this show, and they dropped out because the studio wanted to go a different direction with this sitcom or this animated sitcom, right? So a sister named Renata Shepard, she was picked up as to be the writer and the show's front runner, or meaning the person that has the vision for where they want this show to go. So I'm gonna pull up the people real quick. But Norman Lear, he actually produced for CBS under Norman Lear. It's a show is All in the Family, Good Times, Sanford and Son, The Jeffersons. And when it comes to the Good Times, I don't know if y'all seen the stories behind the set and how they killed off the father. It was a lot of drama behind that whole thing going on with Good Times. But Norman Lear signed off on it, and that's how the Good Times, how it was named Good Times, this new one, how it even came to be. Okay, give me a second. So these are the people, right? This is Renata Shepard to your left. This is the woman that is in all of control of where this show would go, writing, production, and all of that. Now, I don't know if y'all know about what is his name? Dr. Umar Johnson. He did a video calling out Steph Curry. Well, Steph Curry is not necessarily the person behind what was written. Steph Curry's company does the animation. So they called it Steph Curry, and Seth MacFarlane, also because of his name and his experience with animation or illustration illustrating this storyline. That's how Steph Curry is a part of it. Of course, he's the biggest name that's a part of it in the Black community. So the first person you're going to look at is like Steph Curry. Like, why in the hell are you even a part of this? But this is the forerunner. This sister right here, Renata Shepherd. Then you have different actors and actresses for the as the voice actors. So you have what's that brother at the top? The brother JB Smoove as Reggie Evans, the father. You have the sister Yvette Nicole Brown as Beverly Evans, the mother. You have Jay Farrell as Junior Evans. You have the sister Marcy Martin as Gray Evans, and you have Gerald Slink Johnson playing the baby. Okay, he's the one that's playing the baby. And I just want to get to this article where she was being interviewed, Renata Shepherd, about, you know, the pushback from the Black community and having conversations with Slink Wilson, or let me see, is his name Wilson or Johnson? Johnson, Slink Johnson. So she was having conversations with his brother, and you know that brother down at the bottom at the right, he played in that sitcom Black Jesus, where he was a Black Jesus with a weave in his head and a headband, you know, in the hood, smoking weed and all that. So, you know, this is what he had to say, and this is what she had to say, the producer, the forerunner, Renata Shepherd, when having conversations with him. So when asked about, you know, how they feel about the backlash since this came out, she said the best conversation was with Slink Johnson. And she said he was like, oh, please, I played Black Jesus. The world came for me. This is nothing. But also he was very clear. But also he has very clear conversations with his audience in that he's saying, who's going to pay my bills? Who's going to give me another offer? Who's going to take care of my kids? And then there's a bit of, you know, we know what he's saying. But this is the point, right? When asked about the backlash at the Black community, because they did a petition for this, against this show, like 5,000 names to take this show off of syndication. But when she has conversations with this brother, he's like, who's going to pay my bills? Who's going to give me another offer? Who's going to take care of my children? And you see, that's the dilemma that our people are always put in. We're always put in the dilemma of how we're going to pay our bills. And then even if it goes against what's right, what's morally right. Now, in this show, it opens up with the father singing in the shower with a roach. He's literally singing the old Good Time, the original Good Time song with a roach. The baby who Slink Johnson plays is a drug dealer. And so these are the negative stereotypes. And it's like, when are we going to get away from using the dysfunction and the generational curses as entertainment in our community? Now, Renata Shepherd, the producer, said these are different stories that are still happening. So it is a useful tool in educating and bringing awareness to these issues in the Black community. This has been going on for 40 years. We don't need to see it put down as entertainment. It takes me back to why I stopped watching shows like The First 48. Like, I started to realize that our dysfunction and our bad choices and our pain and our suffering became entertainment. It's like, it was similar because I grew up watching, you know, some of y'all didn't grow up like this, but I grew up like watching National Geographic. That's what I used to be into growing up. And so you got a cameraman going inside a world that he normally wouldn't see. And he's telling a story. And so I related it to First 48 when I said, it's like they're going in with a camera. And this is groundbreaking. This is before, you know, this is in the evolution of reality TV. This is the beginning of the evolution of reality TV. It's groundbreaking. They're going inside these inner cities where Black people stay. And, you know, they're getting all the ins and outs, you know, the victims, the pain, the suffering, the snitching. They get it all, and it's entertainment. Somebody is making billions of dollars somewhere. Somebody is making a lot of money off of the trauma and the dysfunction. Same as with this show. You know what I mean? It is definitely not for children. It starts off horrible. Definitely not for children, but this is what's the statement she made is tired and played. Right. You're right, sis. The statement that she made is tired and played out. The statement that Stink Johnson made is tired and played out. But this goes back to the reality of our condition. Who's gonna give me an offer? Who's gonna pay me? Who's gonna give me another chance? I gotta get mine. I gotta put food on the table. I gotta go against, what people think is right, what I think is right, what morally is right. Who's going to feed? Who's going to pay me? Who's going to help me survive? That's what it all boils down to. Who's going to help me? So we're more willing to go against what we believe in, go against what we know is right in order to get money and get a check. Not even really realizing, like, if we do the right thing, everything's going to come together. But that is how this whole thing came to play. This new Good Times reboot. And like I said before, it's like a minstrel show. It is definitely a minstrel show. And other people would not project the inadequacies of their people like that in a cartoon or in a movie. You get what I'm saying? So that's it on that. I'm going to move on, right? Hey, shout out to all y'all that's rocking with me. I got a hell of a show, like I said before. I got some good information I'm going to bring out. We're going to talk about a couple of stories, but I want to talk about right now is recently I did a reel with talking about, it's actually a clip reel from a video I did talking about all the missing Black women, all the missing Black sisters. And this is not nothing new. This is something, if you've been around for the last 5 years, that's how I started out my platform, talking about the missing Black sisters, because it was an anomaly to me. It was weird to me that you have articles. This is like 10 years ago. You have article talking about there are 100,000 missing Black women and no one knows where they're at. But also there's no attention brought to it. So I always pound that in my videos. I always push that in my videos. Like, think about it. So in this last video, I was just saying, like, I used a video where a young girl met somebody online, went to go meet them. Turned out that it was just a little prank, a test. Her mom was involved, but her mom had taught her otherwise, and she still went. Now, I said that if this would have been a real situation, her mother would have never seen her again. And so in the video, I was saying how we need to be hard on our daughters. We need to, keep them in check in that actual clip. But in my title of the reel, I put all the missing Black women. You know what I'm saying? So this is this is on one of the platforms. A sister comes in and she basically says, why you need to tell your sons not to be predators and not to be this and not to be that. And I'm like, what? Like, did you miss the whole message? Like, are you such of a damn feminist that you can't see the issue at hand? It's in the title. But you see, a lot of our sisters are Black feminists, and I can't stand a Black feminist. You know why? Because a Black feminist is against the Black family or anything conducive and productive to building a Black family in a Black community. Now, don't get in your feelings, sisters. This is not about everyone. This is not about all women, because all women ain't like that. And I know this. But you do have a sect of women that in the Black community that are feminists. And anything you say about women, Black women, all they're trying to think about is a way to come back or combat what you just said by bringing up something about Black men. That wasn't the time for that. And I said, sister, you more worried about being a Black feminist than missing Black girls? Let's talk about the issue at hand. Well, you know what? A lot of them really don't give a damn about other Black women. They don't care about all the thousands of Black women, Black girls, Black boys, Black men that are missing without a trace. They don't really give a damn. They are indoctrinated the idea of Black feminism, right? Give me 1 second. They are indoctrinated with the idea, and this is why I don't like. This is why I disdain. They're still my sisters, but I disdain a Black feminist because how did you become a Black feminist? From the woman that was your slave mistress. That's where you learned feminism from. The whole time that you're trying to join their fight, your fight was equal rights. Your fight is being treated like a human being. That's your fight. Your fight is not trying to go against the Black man tit for tat and make it a competition. That's not what it's about. You still don't have equal, you still don't get treated equally as just a Black person. Let's take gender out of it. Let's take the gender out of it. Right. Right, Kalmaz. Well, let me see what my sis said. We have our Black people with the platform that's allowing and signing off with white. Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, but let me just go back. I didn't see this comment. We have Steph Curry, somebody that has a lot of power. He's a Black man with a Black wife, and he signs off on this. That shows you how much we really care. We really care about making money. We say, oh, this is going to be good. It's going to be syndicated by Netflix. We're going to get paid. A Netflix deal? That's a big deal. Our company is going to get paid. Our company is going to get paid. And then Kalma says, we rather place the blame on others than take responsibility for raising our daughters like women before their time. Damn right. That's true too. You rather look at a man and say tit for tat, then you'll never have to deal with the problem that I'm talking about. I'm talking about watch your daughters, make sure you know where they're going. If you're an older brother, check on your sister, know the type of dude she's dealing with. No, be all in her business. As a father, be all in her business. And then she won't end up like Sade Robinson, dismembered, body parts put everywhere over the damn city of Milwaukee. I'm going to get to that story next. But you got this Black feminist mindset to go against your brothers when they're trying to correct and protect your people. I don't get it with y'all. And that's why I despise a Black feminist, because that's how you became a Black feminist, through slavery, through following your mistress and what she's doing in her fight with her man. But it was never the fight that you had with your man. Our fight is about equal rights, civil rights, being treated like a human being. That's our fight. What's wrong with y'all? Y'all don't see what's happening. Y'all don't see all the parents putting their daughters online, talking about, have you seen my daughter? Have you seen her? Blah, blah, blah. And then when you go to the page, she is fast as can be. You can tell ain't nobody checking on the girl. She running the streets how she want to run. You can't do that anymore in 2024. You hear me? You can't do that anymore in 2024. You can't just do what you want to do. Even as a grown woman, it is predators preying on our people. Let's just say in general, there's predators preying on all women. But there is something sinister going on when it comes to Black women and Black people. It's something sinister. And guess what? Y'all know about this. Y'all have heard about this. And I'll get to a story about that. They are taking people's organs. They are selling people into sex trafficking, slavery. And you wonder why all these women that's missing, they don't even find a body. They just don't find them anymore. So for you to come against me for talking about that and try to put it back on Black men, first of all, you're silly as hell. Second of all, you don't care about your people and the real true issues that are going on in real time about your people. I'm off of it. Now, let me talk about I did another reel. Now, y'all know the video I did where I was talking about I was giving my perspective on what Kai Cenat said about Black people not having any culture. Well, I made a reel about that, right? And in that reel, it talks about how great Black people are, how we came as slaves and we made something out of nothing, and how everybody copies us, and we're the most imitated, but we're also the most hated people on the planet Earth. Well, of course, a kin of America had to come for me, right? Let me get it real quick. Let me get what he said, because this is hilarious, because I do actually get a kick out of it. I get a kick out of anybody trying me when I'm standing on truth. So the kin, right? He says, sorry, I don't imitate Section 8. I want that to marinate for a minute. Because I said everybody imitates us, everybody emulates us, everybody takes our flavor, our style, our seasoning, and without us, you know, the world wouldn't have any seasoning. Well, he said, sorry, I don't imitate Section 8. He thought he was actually coming and he was making a real solid point, right, y'all? That's what he thought. That's what he really thought. You want to know what my response is or was? I said, you were the first welfare cases and criminals, a la pilgrims. Number one in welfare, SSI, and disability fraud. And, you know, that just burnt him up. He said, sure thing, whatever helps you cope. I said, you need to cope harder. Cope harder, Ken. Then, you know how they always do. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. He says, yeah, I know I was an asshole. Forgive me. Yeah, you were. And you can't go against the truth. This is the thing, man. They have a disdain for us, even when we're trying to say how great we are. We just professing our pride and our greatness and our accomplishments and the things that we have done. And that brings out the dragon in them. Those Kens and Karens of America, they cannot take us professing how great we were, how great we are, and how much the world benefits from having us around. They want you to be like some dog. They want you to be they want you to be like somebody with your head down and maybe I'm good, maybe I'm great. They don't want you to be proud. They don't want us to be proud. And their covert racism has to come out. You know where it comes out at? Online. In the comments. You know where their racist sarcasm comes out? Online. In the comments. It doesn't come out at work. It doesn't come out at school. It doesn't come out in public. Maybe sometimes they slip up. But the majority of it, because this is part of our lives now, social media, where somebody can be behind a screen and you don't have to see them, you don't have to know them. They are the creators of burner accounts so that they can spew their racism and their true hatred and how they really feel about Black people, how they really feel about brown people or Native Indian people. They can really spew it. They won't do it in public in your face. They'll do it behind, a phone screen. But I just want y'all to realize that whenever we boast and we show our pride about how great we are, how great our ancestors are, we God's chosen people, we the best to ever do it, we the best on the planet. Give us whatever we got, we're gonna make it work. There's so many things that the world wouldn't care about. The world would have no idea or wouldn't care about, but they only care about it only because some Black person did it. Tiger Woods. Nobody would give a damn about golf like they do if it wasn't for Tiger Woods. He inspired all people. The Williams sisters in tennis, they inspired All people. You get what I'm saying? So we take something that nobody is looking at that's just mediocre or just basic, and we take it to a level that nobody has ever took it before. But when you say all of these things and you boast in that pride of your people, then the demon got to come out. They have to come out. You know what I'm saying? And that takes me to the sister, Sade Robinson. Y'all know the story. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This sister was not only murdered by Maxwell Anderson, a devil, but she was dismembered. And they're finding her body parts all over the city of Milwaukee. Now, this sister was excited. She's just 19 years old. And let me just say before anything I say, I am not blaming that sister. Our people have to learn who the devil is. And sometimes any of us could learn the hard way. So I'm not blaming that sister, but she was excited to go see and meet this kin for a first date. Well, this sister never came home. She never came home. The police were able to track where she was by her phone. Her phone was pinging at the different bars she was at with this kin. He looks like a psychopath when you see the pictures of him. I don't have a picture for y'all, but he looks like a psychopath. When you so it was pinging, boom, 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 all the way to his house, and then it looks like she was there for like 3 hours. So within coming to his house in 3 hours, she was probably even less time than that. He had already murdered her. Now, what they're saying is like he tried to be slick by not only dismembering her body, but putting her body parts in different parts of the hood in Milwaukee so that it'd throw the police off, right? But he was the last person she was with. When they went to his house had a damn dungeon, a sex dungeon. Now, we're just talking about what happened to all these sisters. Where is these sisters at? Maybe they're in somebody's damn dungeon. Maybe they're somewhere in another country. Or maybe somebody dismembered them and used their organ. I'm just saying, hypothetically, I'm not saying this is the truth, but we have to think in reality. We got to remember this is an evil world. This is an evil world. You got to remember that. This is an evil world. So they go to his crib. He got a damn dungeon, a sex dungeon. Now, you as a black woman, you looking at Ken of America like he's better than Trayvon from the ghetto, and he can offer better, he can give you better, he can make you this, he can take you and take you places and all that. You looking at him like the grass is greener on the other side. Meanwhile, he could be a damn psychopath. He could be a damn weirdo. What am I saying? We need to love our people, and we need to understand everybody don't love us like that. We live in a society that pushes all of this mixing and interracial stuff, but at the real talk, everybody don't love us like that. I got a video with a sister that was so desperate to be with a white man. And when she got with him, he wanted her to call him master, and he called her a little N baby with a hard ER. And so what happens is a lot of times this is just a fetish. You're seeing as a fetish. You're seeing that as a fetish. It's something that looks exciting and different, but you don't know. A lot of times you're putting yourself and subjecting yourself to stuff you don't need to, experience. Well, unfortunately for this sister, she is no longer with us. And her mother It was very sad. I seen a press conference where her mother was saying that she was crying. She was saying, "Who does that to someone? Who does something like that to someone? A devil, the seed of the devil, a monster, the devil that the Bible speaks of." I mean, we have a long history, and we should know better. We have a long history and a long rap sheet that we can look back and see how our people were treated, and we should know better. And we should teach our daughters better. We should teach our sons better to love your people. There's nothing wrong with it because everybody in the world stresses this. It's just that us black people in America, we're blind to what the real world is, how the real world is. The real world is not Disneyland. The real world is people loving their people. That's why you have strong nations. That's why you have Russia. That's why you have China. That's why you have East India. That's why you have strong cities and countries in Africa, because the people love their people. They're not caught up in this fake world that America has created for black people in America. They're not caught up in it. All right. It's a sad story with Sade Robinson, beautiful sister. Um, it hurts my heart to think about her last moments and any of our people's last moments dealing with these devils. So I'm gonna drop that where I want to go. Let's see. Y'all give me a second. So well, we've come to the end. Okay. Now I'm gonna give you this story. This is the story of Willie Francis. All right. Shout out to all y'all brothers and sisters rocking with me. This is Black Authentic Truth. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Listen, support a brother, a real brother doing real things, talking about real issues, talking about solid issues, not giving you no trash. And I really live what I talk about. Okay. Let me get to this story. Now, this is Willie Francis. All right. Let's get the story. Willie Francis was born on January 12th, 1929, in St. Martinville, Louisiana. He was the youngest of 13 siblings. He worked for many people in the parish. He never got in any trouble and stayed around the house close to his parents doing housework. In his free time, he would sit with an elderly man for hours and keep him company. He also would make little pin toys for the younger children of the neighborhood. In 1944, Andrew Thomas, a pharmacist in St. Martinville, Louisiana, whom Willie had once worked for, was shot and killed. He was the brother of the chief of police and the chief administrator of the parish government. His murder was unsolved for 9 months. Witnesses put 2 men in a vehicle at the scene. However, in August 1945, Willie Francis was arrested in Texas because he was a suspect in an unrelated crime, allegedly. Police said that he was carrying Thomas's wallet in his pocket, but no evidence was given during the trial. Even though he wrote 2 confessions, Francis said he was not guilty. Willie had never been in trouble in his life. During his trial, the court-chosen defense had no objections. They called no witnesses and put up no defense. The defense did not question Francis's confession, although he had no counsel at the time. 2 days after the trial began, Francis was quickly convicted of murder. He was sentenced to death by 12 jurors and the judge, even though Francis was just 15 years old at the time of the crime. On May 3rd, 1946, Willie knew he'd be scared, and he didn't want his legs to fail him on his walk and embarrass his family. So he practiced walking back and forth in the hall to the execution room. On the day of the execution, 17-year-old Willie walked to the electric chair named Gruesome Gertie. He is strapped in, and the parish priest gives him a last blessing. The sheriff asks him, does he have any last words? Willie opens his mouth, but he is so scared that no words come out. He finally just shakes his head and says, no. A black hood is put over his head. The executioner, in a sarcastic voice, says, goodbye, Willie. As the current surges through Willie's 150-pound frame, his body bucks so hard that his body bucks so hard under the straps that the 300-pound electric chair jumps around the execution room. The electricity is turned off, and everyone can see that Willie is still breathing. The executioner says, we'll give him another one. Willie's body puffs up against the straps again as the electricity surges through his body. After the current has run longer than the first time, Willie screams, take it off, I can't breathe. The executioner yells back, you're not supposed to breathe. Then Willie screams, I am not dying. No one could believe what they were seeing. As Willie is escorted back to his cell, the executioner says, I'll get you next time, even if I have to hit you with a rock. Willie would later claim that God fooled with the electric chair and that the Lord was with me. After the failed electrocution, a young lawyer named Bertrand de Blanc decided to take Francis's case. He believed it was cruel and unusual punishment, as prohibited in the Constitution, to have him be executed again. De Blanc took Francis's case to the Supreme Court in Francis versus Westweber. He cited many violations of the Fifth and Eighth and Fourth Amendment rights. These included violations of equal protection, double jeopardy, and cruel and unusual punishment. The U.S. Supreme Court rejected the appeal, but commented that a federal court in Louisiana could grant such a petition as habeas corpus. De Blanc rushed back to Louisiana to tell Willie the news, and that he was going to refile in the federal court of Louisiana. Willie told de Blanc not to do it. He told him that they were going to kill me no matter what, and he couldn't put his parents through more hopeless delays. Willie said to the reporter, I am going to die like a man. I have to die like a man, he said. Before the second execution, Willie practiced walking up and down the hall to the electric chair. For his last meal, Willie asked for fried chicken, which was his favorite. His family was so poor that he only had it on Christmas. When the meal was brought to him, he realized it was Friday, and as a Catholic, he did not eat meat on Fridays. They offered to make him catfish, but Willie declined, stating that he didn't want to put the cook through any more trouble. On May 9th, 1947, Willie Francis should have been in his last month of high school. Instead, he was being strapped into an electric chair for the second time. Willie Francis was returned to the electric chair on May 9th, 1947. He was pronounced dead in the chair at 12:10 p.m. Willie is quoted as saying, I reckon dying is black. Some folks say it's gold. Some say it's white as hominy grits. I've been mighty close. I reckon it's black. This is the story of Willie Francis. That's a sad story. But this is our history. This is what our ancestors went through. And Willie Francis was solid to the end. Even though he did not commit the crime, he got railroaded into committing this crime. He stood strong in his resolve, and he always said he didn't do it. He was just they call him a man, but he really was just a child. And at the time when he's supposed to be, finishing up high school, he's in an electric chair for the second time. This is the history of our people. This is what, we always have been faced with, what we always have been up against. This is why I'll never forget. You couldn't pay me. There's no amount of money in the world to make me forget what has happened to my people. Every culture remembers what happened to their people. Every culture talks about their, pains and their triumphs, and all of the things that have happened to them at the hands of other people. So what makes me as a Black man any different? This is the foundation that Black Authentic Truth stands on. It stands on the stories that have not been heard, the stories that nobody knows about, the stories that are not pushed in the media, the stories that don't come up during, Black History Month. This is what I stand on, and I will continue and always stand on this. All right. So I just want to thank everybody, brothers and sisters, that's been rocking with me. Well, I think how long we went? We went for about 40, 45 minutes. I thank y'all for rocking with me. I mean, I do have another story. I can pull up another story, and I should, because I was going to bring this story. Let me know if y'all want the other story. Give me a 1 if you want the other story. If not, we'll save it. We'll save it for Wednesday. We'll save that for Wednesday. Let me know. Let me know. You want that other story? Right. It was hard to read. It's hard to read stories like that. Just get so angry. It's a righteous anger, though. It's not. I'm not just angry for no reason. I'm angry for a righteous reason. When I read the stories of our brothers and sisters. So let me get here, present, and I'm going to get this story for y'all. It's not necessarily a story. It's an article. It's about something that's going on. I was talking about it earlier, about what goes on with our people when they are deceased. Let's go back. Is this the one? I think this is the one. Excuse me.
Home that first alerted. It was a funeral home that first alerted Sarah Kennedy something was wrong with the body of her brother-in-law, who died while imprisoned.
They said, "Did y'all realize he came back without his organs?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, he came back without his organs?"
The funeral director told Sarah everything was missing inside Jim Kennedy Jr.'s body. Everything but his eyes.
Liver, heart, all of your major organs, they were gone.
She says those organs were taken without the knowledge or permission of Marvin Kennedy, Kennedy Jr.'s brother and legal representative.
But yet they made the decisions for you or represented you without your permission.
Sarah?
So this brother that was an inmate that died as an inmate in Alabama, we've heard how horrible Alabama prisons are. Well, he was returned with no organs, none of his organs. The only thing he had was his eyes. He was an empty shell. They gutted this brother and took his organs. This is something that happened, that's been happening for a long time, and people, no one wants to talk about it. There's a black market for black people's organs. Y'all probably didn't know that. There's a black market for organs. And from what I'm understanding, they say that black people's organs are in better condition than anybody's organs.
Repeatedly tried to contact the prison and the University of Alabama at Birmingham, which is among the providers that conducts autopsies for the prison system.
I had a lot of questions. But no answers.
Eventually, she says she spoke over the phone with someone who identified himself as an autopsy department supervisor for the university, and she secretly recorded that conversation.
We've never had this request done before.
To have the organs back?
Yeah,
Well,
we've
who
never.
bears
We've
somebody
never
without
had.
their organs?
Well, we do it all the time because
We don't want to do it for our religious preference. We don't want to do that.
Now, I will tell you this: is that UAB is a teaching institution, and any teaching institution that does autopsies keeps their organs.
Well, we did not, and Junior did not want that. We have not agreed with the prison for his body to be turned over for no study, and we want those organs back.
5 months after Kennedy Jr.'s death, Billy Stapler made his own alarming discovery.
It's just insane. It's like a horror movie that I can't wake up from.
The private pathologist he hired to perform an autopsy on his father, Arthur Stapler, was unable to perform it.
She said he had an empty cavity. There was nothing there.
Stapler says he held the power of attorney for his father and never authorized the removal or retention of the organs.
I just want him to be whole again.
Stapler says he spoke with the same UAB supervisor. Eventually, his private pathologist received what was said to be his father's brain and heart back. But some organs, like his lungs, came back in pieces. The rest were gone.
And I'm asking, where's the rest of his organs? And he tells me that they possibly got thrown away. And I'm like, how do you throw away organs? Why did you even take them out of him?
Funeral experts tell CNN after an autopsy, organs are normally put in a bag and placed back inside the body. But that's not what happened in the case of these 7 inmates. The families of 5 of them now suing the Alabama Department of Corrections and UAB. The university conducted the autopsies for all the inmates, but one, says attorney to the families, Lauren.
So that's what's going on. That's what we are dealing with. You're dealing with your loved ones' organs being taken. I remember there was a story of a family. I can't remember where it was at. It was a whole family, like a whole Eritrean family, where they washed up on shore in bags and like plastic bags, and they opened it up. They had been cut open. The mother, the father, and the kids had been cut open and their organs taken. So it's a sinister world, underworld, where organs are being sold, where organs are in demand. And you think about all of the brothers and sisters, young, that have passed away in the facility, in prison, passed away through gun violence, passed away through accidents, different things that you can pass away from at a young age. And their organs are coming up missing. I don't know if y'all remember the story, which was never solved, of Kendrick Johnson, the teenage brother that ended up dead upside down in a wrestling mat in the high school gym, right? And they covered up the story. He was messing. Supposedly he was dealing with a white girl and two white brothers whose father was an FBI agent, are accused of actually committing a crime or killing him. But the camera footage of the gym is all cut up, chopped up, and clipped up and edited. So you can't even see what actually happened. But everybody is saying these brothers did it because they had animosity towards him. But anyway, when his family has his body exhumed, they say there's no organs. He's filled up with newspaper. They filled this brother's body with newspaper. He was like 17 years old. They filled his body with newspaper. Don't know what happened to his organs. We know what happened. We know what's happening. You know what I mean? And like they said, they sent it for study, for research to go to these colleges. In that story, you have it where it's going to these colleges where they, dissecting human organs. But even the students, like 3 students that didn't want to be known, didn't want to, they want to be anonymous. They even question how the university was obtaining these organs. Like, is it even ethical? Is it even right? So that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people that want to take organs without the permission of the family to, dice them up and do, autopsies and all that. Then you have a whole black market where these things are getting sold to people who need them, particularly people who are not black, right? So I just want to bring that to your attention. That's a real issue. And of course, because we are who we are, and we don't always have the resources and have the ability to make sure all the ins and outs and all the dots and T's and all the lines are crossed. We can't say, oh, I feel suspicious about this. I'm going to have my son's body exhumed to make sure. We can't do that. Most families are in so much mourning that they're not even thinking about, oh, did they put his organs back in his body? No, nobody is thinking about that. Nobody is even, that's not even crossing a person's mind. But it is happening. And these people are devils. And you got to realize, like I said earlier in this live, man, we live in an evil world. And that is the Black Authentic truth. We live in a very evil world. And this is like with no conspiracy theory, nothing like that. We live in an evil world. So you can't put anything past these people. You can't put nothing past them, what they're doing behind the scenes. Okay. Only the Lord knows what they're doing behind the scenes, but we do know from their track record, from America's track record, and just for the stories that get revealed and get exposed, that we live in an evil world and they are capable of damn near anything. So with that, I want to shout out everybody that's been rocking with me. Let me shout you out. I'm going to shout you out like I do in class, right? I'll skip up to the top. Y'all been rocking with me this whole class. I see there's some people in here that ain't even, you just here, but I would love if you would just share, like the video. If you got something from it, boost that algorithm for your brother. Do that for me, right? So Amara Shara up in the house, Black Dazzle in the house, Kalmaz Buff in the house, That Gamer Honesty 06 in the house, Sister Barathanawa in the house. Hey, good looking to all of y'all that's been rocking with me. I hope y'all got something from Broken Traditions. Oh, this is your first time catching a live stream, brother? Listen, shout out to you, brother. I'll be trying to go every Sunday. So I'll definitely be going every Sunday on a solid schedule, and I'm trying to make it more routine. So good looking out for you, brother, for jumping in and even commenting. So with that, y'all, you already know what it is. This is Black Authentic Truth.